A lot of people are guessing it's Jax. Some people messaged me. Quite a few feel it was sent in by another former VPR star because her and her husband are pissed at them following a fallout that happened surrounding their wedding. Listen, I don't think that she would send in a lie like this. You know, it's they're married, they have a child. I think it's extreme, and what would be her end game in doing that? Welcome to Cocktails and Gossip, the podcast where we drink cocktails, but you better believe we're going to spill the tea. We chat reality TV, celebrity blinds, and the hottest tea from BravoandCocktails.com. And as always, it's all alleged and just for fun. We do not verify our blinds. I'm B.
And I'm Amanda. Let's get into this week's tea. I don't know about you, but it feels like life is constantly throwing curveballs at me, and I'm always looking for a way to de-stress naturally, aka not always turning to the wine, which is why I want to tell the cocktailers about a brand I love called SocialCBD.com. I've talked about their topical products, but I wanted to update you about some of their other products. I've been trying Social CBD's Peppermint Isolate CBD drops in the evenings as a way to kind of naturally chill, and I've noticed a difference. I'm finding myself to be a bit more calm, but I'm also sleeping better. Check out their new Social CBD body care line that features high quality skincare ingredients, and their new bath salts offer 400 milligrams of CBD per bath. Cocktailers, use our code GOSSIP to get a free product when you buy one at socialcbd.com. That's socialcbd.com and use code GOSSIP to get a buy one, get one on all of their items. Enjoy.
Welcome to Cocktails and Gossip, the podcast where we drink cocktails, but you better believe we're going to spill the tea. We chat reality TV, celebrity blinds, and the hottest tea from BravoandCocktails.com. And as always, it's all alleged and just for fun. We do not verify our blinds. I'm B.
And I'm Amanda. Let's get into this week's tea. So, again, we love to kind of call out when you are right. And we also will admit it when sometimes we are wrong. But you have been calling Tamara out for the return, and guess what?
She's back. The judge is back. So I remember as far back as when I was still recording in my basement, which we now know is terrible for audio, that like we started talking about it because I'm looking at, okay, let's give a full picture. I'm looking at a franchise that was once top, completely flop. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry since Tamara was let go has been brought in. They last a season. They got rid of Kelly Dodd because, I mean, she was just not for public consumption. Here they are. If they're not going to cancel it, they have to bring her back. So, like, I was very comfortable guessing. And my top source, who's the best, we love him, we appreciate him, he was like, B, I agree with you, but nobody is confirming this. And, like, he really knows people, like casting people. He's friends with them, producers, what have you. I said to myself, if they're not leaking it, it is not because it's not happening. That whole they're not letting her back because of a podcast was a distraction. I feel they were in very tense contract negotiations. The reason I feel that way. She had the leverage. Most successful Bravo podcast, done by a Bravo celebrity. Got it. Several successful brands. Her CBD keeps growing. She now has not only CBD, which you take, the drops and the pill, whatever. She now has like a beauty line CBD that is in major stores. She's got her gym. She has so much and they need her. So I finally was like, you know what? I'm posting this because I just feel it and I'm really happy I did, because a couple days later we had Jill leak it. She tried to backtrack on that and say that she heard it in the blogs. However, we know that Vicky was at her charity event in the Hamptons. I was in the Hamptons that weekend in a wedding. So we know that part of it, right? I also got this screenshot that one of them, I think it was Vicky, posted. It makes sense that it would be Vicky. Basically, and it showed Tamra like telling her she's back. So all of these things, I said, she's back, you know. And she is.
Oh my gosh. Well, and in true Tamra form, she was pissed. And I mean, sorry, Mom, but Tamra, what she said when she would, like, as on her post, fuck you, you thirsty bitch, to Jill. It was like, this is why we need Tamra back. I'm quite happy about it. I think it's going to be so much fun again to watch her. I think we knew that she was going to be on Watch What Happens Live, her and Vicky being on there. So you and I were talking, as you have an interesting theory about why they didn't announce the night that she was on with Vicky.
So once it was leaked and we knew she was going on Watch What Happens Live and we knew Vicky knew, I said to you, Amanda, and I posted it too, I said, they're not going to announce this on Watch What Happens Live because I'm sure Vicky asked Tamra and Andy not to. So we know Vicky after all these years, right? And then she didn't announce it. So here we cue the naysayers. Oh, you see, Tamra isn't coming back, you know, all that kind of stuff. And in my head, I'm like, she's coming back. I obviously didn't know the next night she would pop on. I was minding my own business, you know, with a face mask on in bed. And there she is holding an orange. So, you know, it did seem when Vicky and Tamra were on Watch What Happens Live together, it did seem like she was very salty at Vicky. That was another thing where I was like, she's coming back, because she sort of had this smirk on the whole time where like she had something to say and she wasn't saying it. And I don't know, I guess it was just the read I got on her, but that's how I felt. And, you know, and like, Vicky, why aren't you happy for your friend?
I mean, that's, again, I know there are so many Vicky stans, but I am not one. And I think that Vicky is being a shit to her friend. Like, she should be happy for her. Like, there's this Lizzo song, this new Lizzo song that, you know, I love Lizzo. And, you know, the line is like, if she's winning or if she's with it, I'm with it. And I'm like, that is how you should be. And like, Vicky, I get it. Like, you feel like you should be on TV because you were there first. But, you know, maybe take a step back and have a little bit of humility and be like, you know what? I'm really happy for Tamra, but I'm also a little bit sad that it's not me too. Because clearly she wants back on some sort of Bravo show in some sort of capacity. She wouldn't have done Watch What Happens Live if she didn't. So, like, show us a little humility and show, like, instead of just being so, it's all about me all the time.
Well, and to your point, what Vicky lacks, which reminds me of Ramona, and there are other, you know, people that come to mind that were really the OGs, is a lack of insight. And, you know, the problem with it is number one, their stans are laughing at them. Okay. All these accounts who stan Vicky and stan Ramona, they stan them in a way that is not like you're a fan of them. It's more like you're laughing at them. But what the issue for them is that they came into this prior to Instagram and Twitter and all of the social media. They don't know how to work it. The younger generation, the newer, not even necessarily younger, the newer Bravo celebrities, they know how to work it. And these two women would both still be on TV if they had invested in a social media manager, because they were the nails in their own coffin. And,
yeah,
you know, that's what it is. So they really don't get it. And I don't know if they ever could get it. But I think that if they had a barrier between them and the internet, it would certainly shield them. And they don't. And they never made that investment, and they're suffering as a result.
The Ramona's recent post, because I have a theory that she's trying to recreate the show through her own social media like some of the like familiar setups, right? Where they always show the housewives packing for a trip. She shows herself packing for a trip. And then she's like, here we are in Ibiza. And I'm like, oh my God,
Amanda,
you're just so cringe.
Speaking about Ibiza, what about the other Bravo and Cocktails exclusive that a follower saw her in Ibiza and she told the follower she will not be back on Roni and she's happy because she's going to get to spend more time with her friends. So guys, if that comes true, it is 7/22. I posted this a couple days ago. You heard it here first.
I mean, I think too, like, I think that's pretty credible source because I don't remember if it's the same person, but somebody else was saying, I think it was the same person who was like, we also saw her trying to cut in line at the club at 1 a.m. and complaining about the line. And I'm like, well, that sounds just like Ramona.
Right. And so I definitely think Ramona said it. Now from now until filming, could something change where they pick her up again? I guess it's possible, but I think if she's been informed that she's let go, I don't think they'll go back on that.
Yeah, I think you're right. Well, speaking of buzzing on social media, there's been a lot of talk about Southern Charm, and we have some really interesting tea that's been coming out. So we're going to kind of tell you guys about it from the behind the scenes look. But first of all, there was a breakup in Charleston.
There was. So, well.
Yeah. Well, so I don't even know where to start with this because we have been getting some pretty, I would go as far as to say crazy emails this week. The first one we got like Monday, I texted you, I was like, this can't be right. And we've gotten 3 this week about a very specific subject. I think we should read it, obviously pulling out names. Yeah. Do you want to read them?
You read it because I'm scared that I'll forget to pull a name out.
Okay. All right. Bear with me here, guys. Okay. So this is the first email we got. This is the one that I texted B right away. It says, we'll just say, leave that blank. From blank. From email, we'll also leave that blank. Subject, guy on Southern Charm and woman on Southern Charm. We'll just leave the names out of it. They are friends with benefits. Okay. The next email. I mean, we could try to, I could try to explain a little bit more, but I think you guys will pick up once we read more of these. The next one says, OG, so I'm going to put in a description here. OG Southern Charm person banging an old lady. It says, I don't watch Southern Charm, but my girlfriend does, and I know who this guy is. He is well known on the social scene and always has good blank if he's being generous that night. Okay, so here is the first email. I'm just going to tell you there's not much I can put in it because it's a short email. Subject is OG Southern Charm person and woman from Southern Charm. And then the subject says they are friends with benefits. Okay. Second email. You guys will start to pick up, I think, as we read more of these. Second one. OG from Southern Charm is banging an old lady. Then it says, I don't watch Southern Charm, but my girlfriend does, so I know who the guy is. He is well known on the social scene and always has good blank if he's being generous that night. I was at a pub in Charleston and OG guy was soused. He was talking about novelty sex and mentioned midgets, MILFs, which, by the way, that is, I don't think a good word to use anymore, by the way.
Midget. MILF is still good.
MILF is fine, yes, etc. And then he said so-and-so's mom, but not to split hairs, but she's more in the GILF category. One of the girls in the group, in disgust, said, she's 80. Mouth hung open around the pub within earshot. People nervously laughed. A guy asked if he was serious. OG guy looked offended and then smiled and said, she's got some astonishing skills.
Okay. So guys, that's actually the original email. I took out the offensive word midget because I didn't want it on print on my website.
Yeah.
You know, we're saying it here. We're saying it with the disclaimer that it's not a good word. It's not a word we use.
Right.
I don't want to offend anybody.
Correct. Agreed.
So, and then we got this other one.
Yeah.
We're going to say the last
this one.
Oh, God.
This one is from South of Broad. The email is, we have learned a fake email. We'll tell you why in a minute. The subject is
the ex-girlfriend of one of the OGs.
Yeah. And it says, her friends were consoling her at a bar. OG guy apparently cheated with someone's mom.
Okay. Now, Amanda, when we first got this, you texted me and you were like, are you going to post this? And I said, absolutely not. Stop it. This is ridiculous. But, you know, then other things transpired, breakups, let's say, and then more emails came in. And so when I posted it, guys, followers sent me stuff that they had heard this. And we know that I have a lot of really cool, informative Charleston folk in my DMs. So listen, I don't know. I don't know. Listen, a fetish is a fetish. And it's not to discount anyone's attractiveness. I am not saying that. I am not age shaming. It just, seems like an extra large age gap considering the age of the women the OG dates, right? So, I would think if you are a person who dates much younger, that's your vibe, right? And we know there are guys who date older and who like older women. So I think that the idea that this person who dates such young, I don't want to say such young, I mean their legal age, but much younger than him, to go so much older than him, in and of itself is pretty shocking.
I have a theory. So first of all, I have to say, I feel like this feels like fake news to me, but I have a different perspective on why. I think this person, the woman, I truly doubt she would stoop to hook up with OG guy. I believe that he would actually might want to, but I kind of feel like she wouldn't. I don't know. I just wonder, I think what we need to do is put up a post about this the day we release this podcast and let the cocktailers have some debate about it. It's just, I don't know. I feel like it's just good enough. We had to share it and share our questions and doubts about whether it's true. I don't know, but where there's smoke, and there's been a lot of smoke on this specific topic.
Yes, there has. So I'm interested. I definitely think that's an idea. We're going to go with that. We're going to put a post when this pod drops, and we want to hear your thoughts and opinions. Remember, you can always put a fake email address if you are from Charleston and you don't want to be outed. So
yeah,
let us know.
We'll go to bravoandcocktails.com today when the pod comes out, and then let's sound off in the comments because I'm really curious to hear what everybody has to say. So on to another interesting email. We've been getting some really great ones, guys. Thank you guys for keeping us entertained and then letting us entertain the rest of the cocktailers with all of this. So here is the email that we got. It says, from VPR Rules, email address is an anon email. Subject, same old. And then what the email says, I hooked up with blank recently. His wife went home early to watch their kid. I guess you can say I'm a POS, meaning piece of shit. And that's why I left a fake email. LOL. Reality is I've always had a crush on him, and he was flirting with me all night. Sadly, he hooked up with another cocktail waitress I work with a couple nights later, so I guess I'm not special. Okay, so we have some comments from the website. So people are guessing it's Jax. People were guessing some other people, but the majority of the comments, like Joe says, Jax, you dirty dog. Yuck says, Jax, are we surprised? But girl, why would you admit that? He's so gross. No way, Jose says, this sounds like a movie made up, but it also sounds like something he would do.
So a lot of people are guessing it's Jax. Some people messaged me. Quite a few feel it was sent in by another former VPR star because her and her husband are pissed at them following a fallout that happened surrounding their wedding. Listen, I don't think that she would send in a lie like this. It's they're married, they have a child. I think it's extreme, and what would be her end game in doing that? Now, the question of if it's true. I mean, I wasn't there. I have absolutely no idea. I do know that after I posted this, I was sent screenshots of the man in question out without his wife, a girl whispering in his ear. It could be anything, right? Anybody can take a picture or a video and it can look bad. But, when you're a known cheater, as he is, you think you'd be smarter than being out in public doing these things. Maybe stay home, or maybe go out with your wife. Maybe if someone's hanging on you, whispering, make sure you're not being filmed. Some suggestions.
Well, or here's my wild theory. So, assuming this blind was about Jax, what if it's actually Jax and Brittany behind it all? What if they're staging this as a way to get people talking about them and to get back on TV? So none of the pictures you were sent showed him actually cheating. What if this were all just like an elaborate ruse? We know that there's been rumors for a while that VPR is going to do kind of what New York's doing and do a legacy and then kind of a new group. I don't know. I feel like they saw the attention Lala got when the whole scandal went down with Randall. And I know, assuming if this is a ruse and assuming he didn't do anything, that Brittany kind of knows that controversy can really only help them, because I don't think they're going to get very far with content about Jax mowing the lawn.
So I can totally see them doing that. However, I don't believe Bravo sees the value in bringing them back in any capacity. So try as they might, it's not going to be a go. But yeah, I could see them doing that, certainly. And they are filming, right? So what timing, right? We just saw the opening of Schwartz and Sandy's. Oh, I didn't tell you this, so this is another random tidbit. We saw the opening of Bar Restaurant. I think Bar? I don't know. Maybe just Bar. Maybe they have food. Looks gorgeous. Very happy for them. The gang was all there. It was very much a social media blitz for the opening. They got a lot of attention. The Daily Mail was involved. A couple of big accounts. I saw the Talk of Shame there. I saw Ryan Bailey there. Good for them. All good stuff. And we wish them well on their new endeavor. But Amanda, they didn't buy the website domain. I know you're cringing because you are, a website pro. It's actually in their bio. So it's not that they're going to not have that name, right? A follower, I know this because a follower sent it to me and she bought it. So,
oh my God.
I guess, and you would know, I don't know how this works, but I guess they'll have to buy it from her.
Yeah, if she bought it and that's the exact URL they want, and it sounds like it is because they put it in their Instagram bio.
I can't.
They're going to have to buy it from her. So I guess, or him, I don't know what gender your follower was, but I think this is what I think they should do. They should say, okay, we'll sell it to you for $1 and then we want to have an epic night at Schwartz and Sandy's. And then I think they should invite you and me.
Yes, I think so too. And the follower laughed. I don't believe that it was a she. I don't believe that she's going to charge them a lot of money. I think it was more a joke because, let's face it. You buy a whole restaurant, you secure investors, this whole thing for years. And yet the domain that is written in your Insta bio, you don't actually buy for $15 on GoDaddy.com.
Oh, dear God. But it tracks, right?
Yes, it does.
This doesn't surprise me.
And, so my followers have mixed feelings about the show's return. They think last season wasn't as good. Some people miss the old cast, or even if they don't miss them, who they are today, they miss the chemistry of, the olden days. I do hope they bring it. It used to be so good. It was our summer house. It was our Southern charm before either of those things existed, right? So, we'll see Katie and Tom post-split. I'm not really looking forward to that. I like them both. I think it's going to be kind of sad to watch. Lala post-split. Again, I'm not that I feel like everything we need to know about that, she has really put it all out there. We know it. We know it, girl. And I think a lot of it is staged, so we'll see James and Raquel post-split. He has a new girlfriend. For people that were engaged, their relationship was so surface level that, it's not gonna be much there. So let's see, let's see. I'm hoping for a good season. It's always good to see Lisa. I love her.
Yeah, I agree. I have a big confession to make that I did not actually watch the last season of. I couldn't deal. It was ugh. So I'm hoping that they can bring back the magic, and I think it'll be interesting that with so many of them single now to see if there's anything kind of fun about that, because nobody wants to watch a show with like post-divorce tension. I mean, that sounds like,
but so here's the thing with that, right? So in the early days, and it has nothing to do with age. For me now, this has to do with how well known they are. So are they going to show us like real blossoming relationships? Is Lala going to date somebody for real, just meeting him like she would have when she was first on, like Katie and Tom did? Are they going to do that now? They're these, celebrities. And are they going to give us that? Or are they going to stage a couple of dates and say they don't like the guy and the guy's really an actor that Bravo paid? I'm not confident that we're going to get a real authentic them dating. If they give us that, and, just a piece of advice, you guys just started filming. That's what we want to see. That's what the fans want to see. We want to see authentic. If we're going to get something staged, then it's time to recast and let's get some new kids in there who are going to give us the real. Because this is reality TV.
Couldn't agree more. Okay, so moving on to another breakup. I guess this was a bad week for love. There was a breakup in the comedy world, and you got a little bit of tea about that.
It's funny you say that, because it's like, don't they say, and God, I'm married a long time, but people don't want to be cuffed in the summer. So I guess it's true. So these are pretty big stars, comedians. They were nearing their first anniversary, and there was some mumblings. People had asked me, I'm like, I have absolutely no idea. I mean, I haven't heard anything. And then we see a post. It was sort of like one of these unconscious uncoupling posts. Conscious a coupling, like one of these like very like woke, we love each other, and it was sort of like, it was odd to say the least, because they like blasted out of a cannon how in love they were, and so then to just break it off, it seemed suspicious. I did get some intel that he broke up with her, but she was. Well, first of all, she's a bigger star. I mean, in my opinion, I'm not huge in the comedy world. I certainly know her better. I didn't really even know. I recognized him when they started going out, but he wasn't somebody who was like an everyday person for me. So he certainly gained on that end with her audience. Maybe she gained on his end with his audience. I don't know. I'm not a guy, right? I'm a woman. So like she's spinning it like it was a mutual thing, but that's not the case. Apparently, this is a pattern for him. He loves hard and then dumps. Kind of reminds me of like a Josh Flagg, who, by the way, he's on Instagram. He's calling this new young guy the love of his life after he just broke up with Bobby. I don't know if he left the Bobby for this guy. Kind of seems that there was some crossover, but I don't know. I'm a big fan of hers. I don't know much about him, as I said. There's social media proof to kind of prove that he's a serial monogamist for whatever that's worth. So, they were friends, right? So she must know that better than we do.
Fashion is such a big part of so many of our favorite reality TV shows, from iconic interview looks to reunions where the entire cast made questionable fashion choices. Let's not name any names, wink wink. We love the fashion of reality TV. which is why we love Tinsley Allison Designs, a brand you've seen worn by your favorite reality stars. They make clothing, accessories, and even items for your furry friends. All are handmade. Plus, many of their items are also sustainably made, as they take previously loved fashion items from high-end luxury brands and use that material to create headbands and other cute items. They also have the cutest caftans for summer right now. Our friends at Tinsley Allison Designs want to extend a special discount to the cocktailers. Use code BRAVO to get 25% off site-wide when you go to tinsleyallisondesigns.com. Shop tinsleyallisondesigns.com, tinsleyallisondesigns.com, and use code BRAVO for 25% off. Happy shopping!
Well, and they would wear matching outfits. I mean, you were, as somebody, if you followed this person, you knew everything that they were doing because they put it all out there. So it made sense that they had to do this very public breakup because we had been, along for every single detail of the ride with them up until that point. So anyway.
Oh, you know what I wanted to bring up? This is so random, but since we're not really going to go too in depth on Beverly Hills, random connection. Diana Jenkins' son's girlfriend, Ava, who was shown as Crystal's nanny last season, is also the daughter of Damon Dash and Rachel Roy. Now, Damon Dash is Jay-Z's old partner, right? I don't know. They had the music label together. They split. And Rachel Roy, the rumors are that she's Becky with the good hair. So that's just like a little interesting, like, is everyone in Hollywood connected to everybody else?
That kind of makes sense because I was watching, before you mentioned that, I was watching this week and they're at Diana's Christmas party and they show Crystal talking to Ava, and Ava's like, oh, she must really enjoy watching you get ready. And I was that's kind of a random interaction. And I'm like, oh, that actually makes a lot of sense because they know each other. So anyway, that kind of ties it all up for me because I'm like, that was kind of a random scene. But then once you say that, I'm like, oh, totally makes sense. Okay, so moving on, we have a very interesting A-list blind from the website that reads, and this one came in on July 20th. Okay, anonymous, please. But I have it on good authority that this A-list star is ready to wreck his also A-list ex, even though she is the innocent one. Her team is working in overdrive to figure out how to shift her public persona without her having to sacrifice her kids' feelings, identities, stories. It's really sad. He's willing to do whatever it takes to come out the winner. And she's worried that she won't be believed because America doesn't believe women. Ugh, allegedly.
Woo. It's a lot.
Okay, so here are some comments of people guessing who this is about. The Beach says K-Cav, so meaning Kristen Cavallari.
No.
Kay says, yeah.
That doesn't
Kay
even
says
make sense.
Brad and Angelina. Brad and Angelina could be. Gretchen Wieners.
I love these people's names.
I love this. I know, I do too. Ben and Jen G. So meaning Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner, I think.
Yeah, but they're already divorced.
Flo. Yeah. Flo says Kim K and Kanye. Could be that. Or J-Lo and A-Rod.
They were never married.
That's right. And yeah, okay. Craig says, oh, I forgot to mention the subject of the name was Take Her Out. So what Craig says, Take Her Out is a nod to baseball. This has to be A-Rod and J-Lo.
Right.
Interesting. Tilly says, not Brad and Angelina. It's been how long, and I don't see him doing that to the kids.
Amanda, I just wanted to add something. So when I post these blinds, sometimes I take things out, like names and stuff. It looks like I took out take her down, wreck her in a divorce. So anyone who's not married or already divorced, it doesn't apply to. So I'll just leave that there. So like, it can only be people who are still battling out, be it, you know, property, businesses, whatever. It's only people in that category because they were legally married. So the people who weren't or who are already divorced don't make sense. So sorry to you guys, because taking that out does obviously change the scope of it. But, you know, sometimes when I do these, I forget like the important pieces. So there you go.
Well, and sometimes we know the important pieces that we have to take out.
Why? Right. Because we got to be careful here. All right. So now I'm going to read something that I got after I posted this, and I'm obviously needing to omit stuff. But if this is about blank and blank, it's 100% true. Blank is a family friend, and he's very close with her and her manager forever. And he was saying she gave blank every chance to make an offer, I'm just going to say, for this business. So it's a business they own together, which he did not, which is why the judge then granted her legal permission to sell this business to an outside buyer. She could have been petty and sold it to someone who had no idea about the business's industry, but instead she sold her shares to blank, who owns, basically she sold it to somebody who knows all about this kind of business.
Yep.
He is in over his head because they have proven models they use to brand and sell, and he's now trying to get it voided by saying she never gave him the chance to buy her out, which legally, as the judge stated, she did. But he now knows that the court of public opinion loves a bitch wife narrative, and she's always been very divisive and triggers a lot of Karens. No coincidence this is happening after Depp heard. Let's not forget, the man has had substance abuse issues that led to the divorce, allegedly, you know, she says that, and led to him losing some rights with his kids. Again, allegedly, these are things she accuses him of. Let's also remember basically some stuff in Hollywood that, you know, he says one thing, but then still works with people. So I say this, so the end of this, without giving away something that we really can't, the end of this basically says that the male in this couple has a very good public image somehow, despite all of these obvious red flags. He somehow has managed to kind of remain America's hunk over the years, whereas the woman's public image suffered a lot.
Interesting. I don't pretend to know much about any of this, but I do think it's highly unlikely that the woman just sold her part of the company without him knowing. That's the level of people and lawyers that they must have had. There would